Thank you for your applause. Greetings everyone and welcome to this world premiere of August Watershed, telling the story of history's most significant month. History is a month-making machine. It produces 12 every year, 1,200 in a century. There have been 24,728 months since Brutus and Cassius stabbed Julius Caesar to death, and many, many before that assassination. And from history's huge inventory of months, I claim that August 1914 is the most significant, meeting my watershed model, and it's 3 Ps. The short period of time, Monday the 31st of August 1914, the small place, the girls' school in Paris, Lycée Victor Duruy, and the few people, General Joseph Simon Gallieni and staff in that school, thereby changing the course of history and meeting my other requirement, as you heard in the final scene. History took the unlikely path, so now the world stands on improbable ground.
It's a bit like that now too.
Sorry?
Sorry, Brian, but it's a bit like that now too.
Yes. Some of the contributors to my production are in this auditorium, and I have great pleasure in introducing them. In May 2013, I heard the song December Boys, and I said to myself, I want Alexander King to be the voice of General Joseph Joffre, Supreme Commander of French forces, in my production, and he is. It was Alexander who, as Joffre explained to the commanders of France's frontier armies, his Plan 17 to attack eastward with the goal of La Revanche, the return of the lost provinces of Alsace and Lorraine. It was Alexander who, in the scene, the sacking, relieved the professional but pained General Charles Longezac of his command with the words, "My friend, you are weary. The burden of command is too great for you." And it was Alexander issuing history's most decisive order as he sang, "Time to profit from his rapid advance, providence for the army, for France. Opportunity presents, we will fight on the Marne. The retreat will end. Time for alarm. He's offered his flank. Kluck is exposed. All troops of the Allies shall be imposed." Alexander, I thank you for your contribution. Would you please stand and receive our applause? Maestro Joe Paparani is responsible for a number of compositions. The Trigger, appearance explaining the Sarajevo assassination and the war's outbreak. No Passage, King Albert of Belgium rejecting the ultimatum and later retreat to Antwerp. Plan 17, and also Longezac brooding with words, "If a giant force marches through Belgium, after crushing the forts of Liège, my army will bear the full torrent, and I'll be obliged to engage." Joe also wrote the words of the music for Debacle, the battles of Mons and Charleroi on the 23rd of August, and A Generation of Young Men, and the finale, the music underscore while the credits roll. Joe, I thank you for your contribution. Would you please stand and receive our I was fortunate to find two composers in Melbourne. Nicholas Golding wrote the underscore music for a number of scenes entitled Mobilisation, Ultimatum, Schlieffenplan, Alsace and Lorraine. And Nicholas also wrote the underscore for the scene, the enemy offers his flank, he offers his flank. I always had this vision of two cellos playing an underscore during that scene, and Nicholas did me proud. Nicholas did not write the music for Hail der im Siegeskranz, because that's an old hymn of some centuries before us, but he arranged it. And Nicholas composed the music for Wheel to the Marne, the Sacking, and what I think might be the signature tune of August Watershed, Opportunity Presents. Nicholas, thank you for your contribution. Would you please stand and receive our applause? I engaged 4 recording studios, one in Perth, one in Wellington, one in Adelaide, and one here in Melbourne. And the proprietor of Atlantis Sound was the one in Melbourne we used. David McLoone is here. Would you please stand and receive our applause? Interstate and overseas contributors unable to be here this afternoon send their apology. I received wonderful support from New Zealand. The voice of King Albert of Belgium is Oliver Sewell, a promising young tenor in that country, and their heritage branch sent me the photos of New Zealand memorials you saw in the final scene, A Generation of Young Men. Perth composer and studio owner Eric Kowalski sends his apologies. Eric composed the 4 songs that the TV journalists sing. I know, I know, I know. There's no television in 1940. Those 4 songs are Catastrophe Unfolding, A Neutral Belgium Dying, So Troops Are Now Departing, and 5 Weeks Relentless Marching. Eric also composed the music for 1 Million Men, the German parade through Brussels. West Australian Opera Company baritone Michael Heap is the voice of General Alexander von Kluck, commander of the German First Army, and he sends his apologies. And from Adelaide, apologies from the director Rick Cavagian, composer John Drake, who wrote the music for March to Mons, the tramp, 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 rat-a-tat-tat, boom, boom. They're my words. Music. This Johnson Hospital is having a total, complete knee replacement tomorrow. Baritone Rowan Powell, commander of the British Expeditionary Force, Field Marshal Sir John French, both on screen and the singer, and he sends his apologies. Sadly, Pete Michel, the father, is both on screen and the singer, died of a heart attack a few months after we finished shooting. Very sad. 3 children, the youngest 4 years of age. The mother in the family, Peter Shannon, both on screen, and the singer sends her apologies. A few words about gender balance, which has been in the news just recently. A long time ago, someone said to me, women are more than half the world's population. Ignore women and you ignore half the market. Wise words indeed. Well, I hope you are pleased at how I stitched into my script the mother and the daughter,
Yes.
the 2 women journalists,
Yes.
and the 3 protesting women, 7 in total. Of course, I had to show respect for those who marched and bore the burden, and I wrote into my script 4 German and 4 British soldiers. Leaving aside the minor roles, the major historical characters in August Watershed all men, 1 German, 1 Belgian, 2 British, 3 French, also 7 in total. So I hope women are pleased with my attempt. I am proud of my lyrics. I think they will stand the test of time. Particularly, I am proud of the lyric. By the way, I have to thank Joe. He taught me, Joe Pepperoni, he taught me very early in the piece that if you're talking about a number of songs, you add an S to the word lyric. You say lyrics, but if you're talking about just one song, it's a lyric. So you're never too old to learn, are you? And I am very proud of the lyric I gave the protesting women in the scene, Wheel to the Marne. Referring to the weary German soldiers on bivouac, you saw them burst into the scene and undressing General Alexander von Kluck with the words, "Cannot you see that they are in pain? You drive them too hard, this pace won't sustain. Exhausted they are, the many just boys. The wounded cry out, a frightening noise. And if victory eludes, what then the cost? Carnage in trenches, uncounted lives lost. Call a halt now, and then a withdrawal, else mark into history Kaiser's downfall." You might be interested to know that the wise person who told me not to ignore women is actually in this auditorium. Of course, I'm not at liberty to reveal who that person is. We could have a Spartacus moment where one of you jumps up and says, "I'm the wise person." Someone else jumps up and says, "I'm the wise person. I'm the wise person." No,
Brian, there's 3 of them at the very front there.
I said a long time ago. So, what next for August Watershed? I am seeking a global audience. I will be saying those words in the months to come. Just a little bit about populations. Australia's population is 24 million. In my script, the countries Germany, Belgium, France and Britain today total 240 million. That's 10 times Australia. The United States and Canada, 15 times us. In Eastern Europe, those involved, Russia, Austria, Hungary, Serbia, Poland, Romania, Bulgaria and others, 240 million. India today is 1.3 billion. They were involved in 1914 and in August. And not many people know that China and Japan saw action in the first month of the Great War when they ejected the German colony from China's soil. Today, as you know, China 1.4 billion and Japan 126 million. Why would I not seek a global audience for August Watershed? Easy to say, but by what vehicle? A few words about cinema and television. PricewaterhouseCoopers have assembled data on Australian screening industry for this century, projected out to 2020. What they found is similar to other countries. Cinema attendance down, cinema box office down, television audiences down, television advertising revenue down, DVD sales have just about reached their x-axis. In the past 10 years, Australian feature films have struggled to reach 5% of box office, down from almost 30% in the 1980s, to an average of 3.4% in the past 10 years. Australians are voting with their bums, deserting both cinema and local stories. The one exception is the consumption of content on the internet. Its upward climb is quite dramatic. I've seen growth figures of a few 100% in a few years. The cinema business model is complex, riddled with margin-taking middle people. I wish to avoid it. A few words about expenditure on the screen industry. I calculate that upwards of 30 billion, that's billion with a B, even 40 billion will be spent by our governments, your money, on the screen industry in the first 2 decades of this century, by the Commonwealth, by a number of agencies, by 8 state and territory governments, and by many in local government. Now, Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce might say 30,000 million. I like that terminology. $1 billion is difficult to get one's head around, but we drive past $1 million houses every day, particularly in this city. So the equivalent of 30, perhaps 40,000 $1 million houses will be spent on the screen industry this century to 2020. $30 billion would build Badger East Creek Airport 4 times. There were 105,237 people experiencing homelessness in Australia on census night 2011. That amount would house all of them. Surely we can do more with $30 billion. For a start, why not create content that we can export? The internet now makes that achievable. Not surprising, I have turned to the internet. Of course, I could put August Watershed up on iTunes, established platform and well known. Well, actually I couldn't. I would have to work through an aggregator, fees, margins and splits would result. Even then, August Watershed would be one of thousands of productions on that platform, all seeking an audience. Therefore, I would need a promoter, probably one in every target country. More expense, more margin taken, and upfront. Whereas services are a significant 70% of the Australian economy, the sector constitutes only about 20% of our exports. Therefore, last year the government instructed the Productivity Commission to undertake a study to determine whether there were any barriers to the growth in services exports. Their website has the report available for you to read. It's 300 pages. Of course, the Commission found that most people know that tourism and education sectors dominate our services exports. Film and television did not make a submission and were not even mentioned. The only mention, content for the internet, came from me. The report allocated just 1 sentence to my submission. Film and television. With our film industry unable to get Australians to watch their productions, I can understand why the industry did not submit to the Productivity Commission study. Of course, our television industry can only broadcast at home, so its focus is local. However, when it comes to content for the internet, we also are mostly inward looking. Stan and Presto, which end soon, see Netflix as their prime competitor. By my measure, all 3 want Aussies to consume largely B-grade Hollywood content. Netflix employs no Australians and probably takes home upward of $200 million per annum out of this country. Well, I have decided to follow my own course. On occasion of this world premiere of August Watershed, I advise that I will be pursuing a goal to establish an Australian national internet platform, able to take to the global market content of many genres created by Australians. Now, this is not the time for detail. In brief, these are the components of my vision. The platform will be an ASX listed company. It will be widely owned. To use the investment community's terminology, I want the mums and dads of Australia to be shareholders. The platform will facilitate the creation of content for the internet. It will operate a very different business model to that of film and TV, more in that a moment. It will assist with formalising the commercial arrangements between those who contribute to creating the content. Its prime role its prime role will be promotion of Australian content to the global market. The platform will encourage a new business model. People in the Australian creative sector have a handout mentality, expecting others to invest in their careers, others to carry the risk. I respond, why not invest in yourselves? Why not you carry that risk? And when I mention the word invest, I don't mean money, rather inventiveness, talent and time. In my business model, content creators will own what they produce. If it sells, then they become self-supporting. If not, they should try again or follow another career. The talent needs to be discovered, led from its crippling, entrenched handout mentality, and presented with new opportunities. I have already talked about the graphs all declining, each except internet content consumption, which is increasing at a considerable rate. So the Productivity Commission's study missed a growth industry, an industry with double-digit and sometimes triple-digit growth globally. Is Australia to contribute to the global content industry, or are we simply to consume what foreigners create? Well, I'm going to have a go. August Watershed and its dynamic map are the first cab off the rank, but I have much more in the pipeline. Much content well advanced in genres that you, with respect, could not even begin to imagine. My vision has the national internet platform giving birth to an internet content industry, allowing creative people who can think laterally to be self-sustaining and gain export revenue for Australia. It is the future of content, transported to the global market by over-the-top distribution, overtaking cinema, television and other media in efficiency and reach, and gaining profitable margin for the content creators who will own what they produce. On arriving this afternoon, you met my 4 grandchildren on name tags, media and security duties. My daughter Annabelle has 2 children, Oscar and Piper, and my son Warwick's girls are Lola and Francesca, who we call Ketchy. When Piper was very young, she was doing something, I cannot remember what, and I said, Piper, I can help you with that. Piper responded, Grandad, I can do it myself. I love those words. I've hung on to them all this time. Grandad, I can do it myself. This nation does not need to use foreign platforms to take the content we create for the internet to the global market. We Australians can do it ourselves. We can do it ourselves. Just like you heard General Galliani shout down the telephone, opportunity presents, it is nigh, it is fugitive. I'd like to thank Backlot Studios for hosting this event today, Muse and Events for the catering that you are now going to enjoy, and of course you for your attendance this afternoon. Thank you for your support. Food is now served in the foyer and the bar is open still. As we now mingle, please enjoy Alexander King singing December Boys.